Good morning, good vibes. Welcome back to Mind Your Mouth. We are your hosts, Ricardo and Carlos. Carlos, say what's up to the people.
What's up? This is Carlos. How you doing?
All right, guys. Today we are going to discuss student mindset. Sorry, and we're going to break it down in three ways: what it is, why it's important, and how you can implement it into your life to achieve results.
Yeah, man. I think this is crucial, just along with all the other topics that we've discussed in the past. But this one right here lies at the core, at how lies at the core of self development.
Absolutely, improvement and development, right? Let's start off with what is a student mindset to you?
A student mindset to me is seeking out knowledge that others can provide to you, whether it be in the form of a book, whether it be a form of advice, whether it be passing on experience to you.
I agree.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
And it's really putting yourself in that position of a student, right? At all times in life, no matter how good you become at something.
Being teachable at all times, no matter what level you reach, what position you're in, whether you're a salesman or a manager or the CEO. It doesn't matter what level you reach in your life. It's remaining teachable to continue improving yourself, right? And it's being humble, right, about where you're at, and knowing that you don't know it all, because when you believe that you truly know it all and you've had it all figured out, I think that's a recipe for failure, right? That's when you stop growing. That's when you start going downhill, right? That's when you start dying.
Yeah, that's what they say, right? That's the saying. The moment you stop growing, the moment you stop learning, you start dying. And we could treat our brain just like any other muscle. The moment you stop training it, just like, let's say, your pecs or your legs or whatever, the moment you stop using it and training it and looking to get better,
Stops growing.
But guess what? It starts decreasing, And here, another thing is there's multiple ways that you could feed it.
Well, you just mentioned some of those, right? You mentioned books.
Yeah.
One thing that I do is, again, what we do, I think, is books and podcasts, right? And another is just having conversations with people, right? I think that there's something that you can learn from anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter if it's a random guy in the street or somebody at the gym, or even a customer in front of us. I think that everybody has something in their mind, that they can teach us that we don't know.
It's interesting you say that, because, and even if you bring it into sales, it's never about you. It's about the other person. So if you're invested in listening to that person, what they have to say,
I was just gonna say that.
and actually taking into account what they're saying, being detailed about picking apart all the lessons that they're imparting upon you, even if they're not trying, you can use years and years of their experience, multiple times that they failed, condense that into a conversation, implement it into your life.
Yeah. Oh, a student mindset, and it's almost like a student mindset. And now that we're talking about it and discussing it, it's almost like a student mindset and sales go hand in hand, right? Because listening is very, very important when it comes to sales. Same thing with the student mindset, right? The more you listen, the less you speak, the more knowledge you soak in.
So here, let me ask you this: why is the student mindset in particular important in life, in sales, and in, let's say, personal aspects?
Well, we just said it, to keep growing, right? To keep developing yourself. I think that being a student to life and being a student to everyone and everything around you, again, is essential to growing who you want to be, and who you are and who you want to become, and getting to that level. I think it's huge.
Yes.
Carlos is mind blown right now.
I was looking up into the ceiling. I was lost. But yeah, bro, I agree 100%. I think that's one of the reasons why, personally, and I know it shouldn't, because at the end of the day, it's each their own, right? But I do care for others, and I do want them to improve, Not because I feel like, oh my God, you can be way better than what you are now. But I always want to see people improve. Like, that's just what I enjoy. But when somebody goes into a, let's say, profession, or someone gets into sales,
Sure.
and it's okay to be confident. You know, I think that's amazing. That's what really carries you through, and it's okay to be very secure in yourself that you are able to do something. But
you have to be confident, otherwise, I mean, what the hell are you doing, right? If you're not confident in yourself, how is anybody, especially in a position, as a salesman, how is anybody gonna have confidence in you and that you know what you're doing?
Exactly. But here's the thing: when when somebody doesn't adopt that student mindset, and they don't seek out knowledge from those who have achieved more than them, let's say whether it be a manager, in different parts of the dealership or in different parts of their company, not necessarily just a sales manager. You can do a finance manager, you can do a service manager, because there's always a lesson that you can take from that person and really try to improve your game and improve your skills. That when you're there's a ceiling. When you have a student mindset, there is no ceiling.
There is no ceiling.
But when you don't have it, there's a hard cap on what you can be.
And then you're just a dick.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm sorry to say
Yeah.
it, but you're just a dick if you act like you know it all and you're cocky. Not only are you going to fail in life eventually, but nobody's gonna want to be around you, man. You can't. You're just
Facts,
a dick.
bro.
I'm sorry. That's it.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a little off-putting. It's a little off-putting. You know what I mean? But here, so
I
how
think you need to lay off pudding.
Damn, boy.
I'll play that.
Nah, I'm playing. Hey, but we're getting lean though. We just started this calisthenics program about last week, and we're feeling good. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes, sir. Lean
Feeling-
and mean.
feeling
You
swole.
guys will see it on camera soon.
Yeah,
We're gonna be doing videos very, very soon. We are actually building the lab right now. The laboratory.
Yep.
The
yeah.
laboratory.
Cooking.
That's
Cooking.
right. Back to the mindset though. Back to student mindset. So we've discussed why it's important, right? In order to keep growing, I think that if you go in with a student mindset, whether it's reading a book, having a conversation with somebody, listening to a podcast, that's the only way you're actually going to soak up knowledge, right? If somebody assigns a book, let's say in school or even in your company, and they tell you it's a book on how to sell, right, or a book on how to accomplish, a specific something, right? I think that going into it knowing thinking you know it all, you're not gonna pick anything up, right? It's important to maintain a student mindset at all times, because if you go in it, without thinking you know it all and forgetting everything you already do know, you're gonna pick up a lot. You're gonna pick up a lot of knowledge, a lot of information.
Yeah, man. I think the first step into implementing the student mindset in your life is falling in love with learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it is a beautiful thing, when you learn something and you recognize that, oh wow, that could have helped me in this situation.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
It's like once you start doing it, it's I don't know about you, man, but I get excited. Like when I read, once I read something that I'm like, oh shit, what did I just read? I'll literally read it like 5 times, and I'll even stop, and I'll find my girlfriend wherever she's at in the house, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Check what I just learned, and she looks at me like I'm nuts, but she still listens. She loves me, so she still listens to me. But I get thoroughly excited, and like I'll text you, right?
Yeah.
I'll text you, or I'll text my sister or my brother, like, yo, this is crazy. It's mind blowing. Look at what I just read.
Bro,
It's exciting, bro.
I wake up. There's a text. Yo, I'm like, oh no.
Yo, and then with the mind blowing emoji.
Yeah, bro.
But it's exciting because I've learned to love to learn.
Yeah, man. And then it's like it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. Like, me personally, I love audio because I feel like that's just the way that I learn best. Have something playing at all times, at least when I'm free. Let's say I'm in the car, or I'm at the house doing chores, or I'm at the gym sometimes even. Like, it's always being engraved into my head. Repetition. Yeah, that's for one. And then, I feel like when I'm learning something, I'm moving forward, and
That's also a good feeling.
the feeling of stagnation, man, it's something that's very uncomfortable for me. You know, I don't like feeling stagnant. I know that sometimes you have to be disciplined in the everyday chore or everyday work, but the feeling of stagnation
But it's not necessarily a chore, is it? If you're working towards something, because if you're working towards something, you're. But I get what you're saying is, if you're not, let's say you're not working towards something and you're just waiting for something to happen to you, right, or happen for you, I should say. Then I get what you're saying is it's definitely uncomfortable, and it's definitely you feel like your life is going nowhere, it's headed nowhere. I definitely can relate to that. I don't like that feeling at all.
Yeah, man. Even if, let's just say, you're having success in what you're doing at the moment, if you don't feel like, you know, we're in sales, right? So every day there's a sale, or every day there's two, or however, you're always putting in that work. You're always looking for that next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. You get one, you shut that off, go to the next. Shut it off, go to the next. You know. And sometimes, you know, it's a cycle, and it's great because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you moving forward. It keeps you looking forward. It keeps you looking to improve on your skill set. But another thing is, we have that thought in our mind where it's what we envision ourselves in the future and what we envision our life in the future. And when we're not there yet, sometimes it's like, fuck.
Yeah. No,
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, we literally were just talking about that. How, and for those listening, how, Carlos, how do you think someone can go about starting to implement that into their life? You know, having a student mindset. Cause it's not, you know, it sounds easy, like, you know, we'll just pick up a book and just, you know, start reading. But it's having that motivation to start, right? But how would you suggest going about doing that? What would your advice to our listeners be?
Start off with finding someone you look up to. Finding someone that embodies what you look up to, has similar things to what you look up to, and is living a life similar to what you look up to. And sometimes it may be...
So find somebody who has that life that you desire.
Yeah, whether it be online, whether it be in person, whether it be a close relative.
So a motivational speaker, right? Yeah. Or a CEO, or just someone that you look up to.
Business owner.
That's in the position where you want to be already.
Yeah. And then I always felt like it was important to have multiple, right? So you have one that has reached those higher levels, those quote unquote unattainable levels. But then you have a mentor that has, or someone that you learn from that you actually can talk to on a personal basis. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, like in this case, you know what I'm saying? I saw you up, you know?
Right.
Where it's like, I remember when I first started at the dealership. Hey, hold on, this is a story. Hold up. This is a story.
Oh, no.
Yo, bro, so tell me why.
No. Set aside some time, folks.
Tell me why.
You're going to be here a while.
So tell me why, bro, the first day I started at the dealership, we were at the Chevy store. And he was top dog, right? Ricardo was top dog. And I had just started, but I was hungry. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I was hungry, bro. I was taking everybody that was walking in that fucking door.
Yep.
And
they were leaving as quick as you said hi to them too.
Hey, no, swear to God, though. Hey, bro.
It was like you were like a revolving door.
Well, I didn't give a fuck, bro. I mean, I did give a fuck, but I was like, man, fuck, I'm gonna make it somewhere.
But that's how you learn. Yeah. No, but go ahead, continue, sorry.
And so I pulled up on this man, bro. I was like, hey, man, so how do you do it, man? How do you like sell so many cars? How are you this good? Bro, I tell you, when this man did not even turn his chair, bro, didn't even swivel his head, he said, it's just people, man. And then just kept typing on his computer. I think you were looking at stocks, actually.
I think I probably was, most likely, yeah.
And I was like, man, this guy. But it actually, what's crazy is that, bro, you know what's crazy? You said it's just people. At the end of the day, what really helped me take my game to the next level, and obviously I'm not at the level I want to be yet. I'm going to continue improving. What helped me take my game to the next level was, it's just people.
But that's why I said, and this is what I tell everybody. This is literally what I tell everybody that has, you know, trouble selling whatever they're selling, right? It's just people, man. I mean, it's not a matter of thinking you're above them, right? Because in the beginning, you have that feeling that you're below them, right? That they come in and they know more than you and they're smarter than you and they make more than you. It's not a matter of flipping the script and thinking you're above them, but it's just a matter of just seeing them as just like a friend, right?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what you do in sales is you establish a friendship first, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, nobody's gonna want to buy anything from you if they don't like you. But they're just people, dude. I mean, they walk in with their guard up, right? Because obviously, salespeople, the sales industry in general has a bad name, right? But you just treat them like people. That's there's nothing to be afraid of.
You're right, and that lesson has traveled through almost 2 years, and still paying dividends. Still paying dividends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And after that, I kept going to ask you. You know what I mean? I kept going to ask you. I would ask other managers that were available, and some would really take the time to break down what they were, what sales was. And even some of them even dove into the psychology of it. And here's the thing: at the moment, I didn't understand, and this is what's important as well, because if someone's at a higher level than you, let's say skill wise, maybe financially, they have deeper understanding of certain things, certain subjects. You're not always gonna fully understand what they're saying to you and be able to fully implement it into your life. But as you come across those obstacles, you're gonna think back and be like, it's gonna click.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there though, because this actually ties into number 3 of what we're discussing, how you can implement it into your life, having conversations with people in higher positions than you, right? Again, you can have a conversation with anybody in any position, right? Because the janitor might teach you something, right? It doesn't matter who it is, but it's seeking knowledge, right? And being willing to spark up a conversation with somebody, right? And asking them, yo, how does this work? How do you do this? Why did you do it this way? You'd be surprised how many people. I mean, being asked that, it feels good, right? Because you're being acknowledged. You know that what you're doing is being recognized, and it feels good to. I mean, at least for me, I like teaching what I know, and you'd be surprised how many people are actually open to teaching you what they know.
Yeah. It is uplifting. It is uplifting to somebody, and I could tell when I ask, because you know what I'm saying.
Seeking knowledge, and I think that's exactly what you did, right? So how can you implement it into your life? That student mindset is just being willing to seek the knowledge and spark up conversation with really anybody.
Yeah, and on the student side, one thing that you develop is, there's a few things that you develop, but one of the things that you develop is humility.
Yeah. Because
it's recognizing that you don't know it all, recognizing that this person does know more than you, and he or she can help you.
I think that might be step 1 to having a student mindset, is realizing that you really don't know everything. And once you realize that and you're accepting of it, I think that's when you're open to seeking it out. Right? I mean, at least that's how I feel, right? Because I mean, really, if you want to break it into steps, that's step 1, is being humble, enough to realize, man, I don't know it all. How do I start knowing more? How do I get to it?
Yeah. One thing that superiors in whatever field that you're in recognize when you do ask them is your drive.
Yeah.
When you go and ask somebody, who asks people how to get better? Who's gonna come and ask you, hey man, I ran into this situation. How would you address it? And how can I mix that into what I do so that I can improve upon it? Because not everybody's gonna do that, and the person who does that is gonna be the one person that wants to grow and wants to get better and wants to dominate.
Student. Yes, sir.
Well, actually, here, let's tie it back to humility, because some people think that being humble, you're almost taking that, and I don't know, I don't really like to
I think I know where you're going with this.
I don't like to name it this way, but maybe like, oh, you're a beta, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Or not that alpha male because you're recognizing that someone's better than you. But fuck that, man. The person who wants to learn and takes that step back and takes that act of humility, that is that person that wants to dominate. I think there's
a misconception between what we're considering humility and what others consider humility, right? Because when you're achieving your goals and when you're moving on up in life in the world, right, and people tell you, man, be humble, right? Like, you're not gonna block my shine, bro. Like, I'm not gonna allow you to dim my light. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, but I will be humble to the point where I'm not gonna be loud about it, you know. And if I'm being told that, you know, I'm gonna take a second to analyze it. You know, am I being cocky? If I'm not being cocky, then they're just being envious, right? But if I am being cocky, then I think that's a good start. It's a good point to check yourself, right? And say, wait, am I being too loud? Am I doing too much? Am I being a dick, right? But I think people confuse those two, right? Because there's nothing wrong with humility, unless you're just a total asshole, and again, you're just a cocky person.
Yeah, but you know, you actually have a good point. This is a little off topic, but removing people who chop at your knees, chop down at, you know, let's say you're a tree, they're chopping down at the tree trunk, you know, just throwing shots here and there. Maybe they don't mean it, maybe they don't recognize it, they're not conscious of it, but those are signs of envy. You feel what I'm saying?
Envy, jealousy, absolutely.
Yeah, because they, in a certain way, unless it's like a roast or whatever, you just roast with the homies. That's another thing. But you know, people who consistently throw shots, like that's not energy that you want to be around. You know, no matter how humble you are, you're exactly right, bro. If I'm working, if I'm hustling, if I'm actually improving upon my life, and I'm confident in what I do, I'm not gonna let you, you know, block my shine, like you said.
And people usually don't even tell you to your face, right? They'll say behind your back. But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say what I told Carlos a couple weeks back. People only talk behind your back because you're 2 steps ahead. I had to hit him with it. I had to hit him with it. That's true though. That's facts. That's facts. That's major facts.
That is facts.
Don't let anybody dim your light. If you are in fact being cocky, just stop being an asshole, man. Check yourself real quick. But if you're not, they're just envious. Keep going. Keep moving.
Yeah, for real. And they want to come up with explanations as to why you're achieving the things you're achieving, because they don't want to recognize that it's because you've been working. You know. That's what I mean? Right. It's because you've been working.
Put the work in, my friends. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Again, learn to be a student, learn to love learning, and you will master that student mindset. And that's really going to take you places. If you're already, you know, growing, that's the cherry on top. That's that extra push you need.
Love learning, man. That is exactly what we need to do. And treat your brain and your mind like a garden.
Yeah.
The more you tend to it, the more you care for it, and the better you feed it, it's just gonna take you to different heights.
Yo, I fuck with that. You did not have to get that deep. But again, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for tapping in to Mind Your Mouth podcast. We really are appreciative of you guys spending the time with us, and actually, if you listened all the way through, man, we fuck with you heavy. So